Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. I need everybody who watches the video early to click thumbs up, thumbs down, and please leave a comment. I don't understand. I feel like you're giving me the silent treatment. Okay. I am not out of the woods at all, any sense of the word. I only had a couple of people give me like $20, so I'm pulling my hair out of what to do. Sell all my stock, sell my computer, sell my phone, but then I wouldn't have a computer and phone. Anyway, please donate to the channel. So, some of you may know, I've mentioned it before, that I'm a third-year law school student, right? I need $100,000 to finish my degree. I don't have $100,000, in case you were wondering. Also, I went to law school in Louisiana, which is under the Napoleonic Code. It does adhere to British common law, which is the rest of the United States, but it's also Napoleonic Code and the Code of Hammurabi. So it's really strange. It's because it was a French territory for a very long time, and so you can imagine laws do not change quickly. We're talking about the viral video of the white nurse who was in a heated argument with 6 teenage black young men, right? And in the video, I want you to concentrate on the video and the details of the video. In the video, the young man in question keeps saying, "This is my bike." He says it multiple times. She even snatches his phone. Why does she snatch his phone? Because he's showing that this bike has just been rented by him. And you can see it in the video clip. He has the receipt. There is no question that he rented that bike. Do we understand everything up so far, right? Now, why did the video go viral? The video didn't go viral because he said, "This is my bike." The video didn't go viral because he showed on his phone that he had just rented the bike. That's not why the video went viral. The video went viral because of the behavior of the white nurse. But wait. She was suspended from her job. Why was she suspended from her job? Because the hospital where she works at saw the video and said her behavior was disturbing. So let's talk about her behavior. A part of my undergrad pre-law degree concerned full credits for a political science degree, full credits for psychology, and some other degrees. You will notice that she starts screaming, "Help, help, help, help." Why is she screaming help? They're talking about a bike rental. And at no point did the teenagers say anything else other than talking about the bike rental. I want you to note that at no point did the teenagers talk about anything other than the bike rental. Why is this key? Because at no point would anybody watching the video feel that they had threatened her to such a degree to cause her to start screaming, "Help, help, help." And in fact, to her screams of help, 2 white men show up, and one from the hospital. And he listened to the teenager say, "This is my bike. She's trying to steal my bike." And he shows him the receipt on the phone, because that's the age that we live in now. Your receipt is right on your phone. Your confirmation is right on your phone. We don't have paper receipts anymore. And the white man backs off. Even his friends say, why don't you relock the bike, let her rent it herself, and then we can rent another bike? And he says, no, why should I go through all of this trouble when I have the receipt right here and this is the bike? She is in the wrong. Behavior number 2. When the white man comes up, she pretends to cry. What's funny is, me just doing that right there, tears started coming out of my eyes because I'm freaking half sick to begin with, and more tears came out of my eyes than hers. And I wasn't even really trying to do anything. But not a drop of a tear came out of her eyes. And the guy filming the whole incident said, there's not a drop of tear coming out of your eye whatsoever. Why are you fake crying? You're trying to get us killed. This is why the hospital suspended her. Her actions created an environment of danger for the young black men. Why? She's a woman. 2, she's white. White plus woman to young black men has a historical element of white men killing black men. No matter how much of a lie the white woman tells. Even to the point of now, white men today are getting on YouTube and saying that actually Emmett Till did do everything that the woman said. Medgar Evers did do everything that the woman said. The other black men that were put to death over the accusations of white women did do all the things that the white women said. When we have actual confessions from the women 50 years later saying, nothing happened. He didn't do anything. I made the entire story up. But now that we have the internet, and we have the narrative, people can change the narrative because black people don't speak up for themselves. Now, it has come out, and this is why I was stressing that the young man showed the receipt right on the video. The receipt is right on the phone, right at that instant. The New York Times, New York Post, and then ABC, NBC all ran with the new narrative that the lawyer, she hired a lawyer over a bike rental. No, that's not why she hired a lawyer. She hired a lawyer because of the viral video, and she got suspended from her job pending investigation. So she hired a lawyer, and the lawyer said she has receipts. Here's the problem. Are you familiar with artwork? Artwork has to have documentation of who owned it, where it came from, when it was created, and at what point did it pass from one person to the next. Right? That's artwork. The word is escaping me right now. The receipt that the lawyer showed does not show that the bike was rented at that time at that place. And let me repeat that. The lawyer presented 2 receipts. A receipt that a rental was done and it was immediately returned, and then a second receipt where the bike was out for 20 minutes, assuming that she rode home on the bike. Here's the problem. This particular person, this woman, is in the habit of riding bikes, is in the habit of renting bikes. How rare would it be for her to have a receipt of a bike? It would not be rare, because obviously that's her method of transportation. So presenting receipts of a bike, and then the receipts do not show that it was at this time, at this date, and this particular bike. Then you have to look at, well, who was the lawyer? Did you know that there's different types of lawyers? There are. The law is vast. So lawyers are sometimes specialists. And some lawyers are very specialists. This particular lawyer is a specialist. Is he a lawyer that specializes in trials, making him a trial lawyer? No, he's not. So, him producing receipts that are not conclusive by themselves shows that he's not in the habit of presenting proof beyond a reasonable doubt, right? So what type of lawyer is he? He's an employment lawyer. His specialty has nothing to do with the actual facts of the case. He's not concerned with that. That's not his specialty. That's not his lane. So why is he presenting receipts to everyone? He's an employment lawyer. He was hired to make sure that the nurse keeps her job after the video. So what is he doing? He is trying to destroy the very appropriate narrative that surrounded the viral video. What's the narrative surrounding the viral video? That this woman, this white nurse, exhibited behavior that has resulted in the past of black men being murdered by white people. It was so egregious and so disturbing that the hospital saw the video and suspended her without any investigation, any preliminary investigation. I guarantee you there's probably black people that work in that hospital who saw that and have some sort of decision-making capacity and said, oh my God, oh my goodness. Yeah, I can probably guarantee it that there's a black person in that decision-making process that said, oh my goodness, no, we can't have this. Not only can we not have this is bad for the hospital. We don't want to be considered a party to this type of behavior, so they suspended her. And this is why she hired a lawyer. And then the lawyer, his tactic is to destroy the narrative surrounding the viral video. So now, he's kind of accomplished that by presenting the receipts. Because everybody's not the usual suspects. The usual suspects are jumping to her defense. Oh my God, it turns out that everything that we saw in that video was completely wrong. In fact, that she actually had rented out the bike. She has receipts. Oh, let me put that another way. The white woman who we wanted to defend from the beginning has receipts, and we are now going to ignore the verifiable proof that the young black teenager presented right in the video, right in front of our faces, right at that instant, that proved beyond a shadow of doubt that he had rented that particular bike. We're going to ignore that, and we're going to now side with the 6-month pregnant nurse. And then they showed a picture of her as a prom queen and laughing and holding hands with her black maid when she grew up, and sweet and innocent. Her friend started a GoFundMe for her legal fees, and she has already amassed $34,000 out of $35,000 in legal fees. People were donating $1,000 at a time. People donated $1,000 at a time because they believed the narrative that she was the one who had rented the bike, and that the teenagers were in fact trying to steal the bike from her, when the other 6 teenagers were literally sitting on bikes that they had just rented. So the employment lawyer seems to be doing great, except for the fact that somebody actually fact-checked the lawyer, and I present that to you.
Hey, coming back with an update about Citibike Karen, aka Sarah Jane Comrie. So as you may know, an article came out today in the New York Post, in which her attorney asserted that she had receipts for having paid for the bike. The New York Post published the article. They did not publish copies of the receipts, but of course everyone ran with the narrative, oh, she paid for the bike, she paid for the bike. I, being a journalist, reached out to the lawyer in question. The lawyer in question is named Justin Marino. Justin Marino is an employment attorney. His job is to help Sarah Jane Comrie keep her job with NYC Health and Hospitals. So, and he told me this himself, that he was brought in basically to make sure that she's not mistreated by her employer and that her rights are not violated by her employer. He's here to help her keep her job. That said, what he presented to the New York Post were 2 receipts that he also sent to me upon my request. He asked that if he sent me the receipts that I not publish them. So I honored his request. I did not publish the receipts. However, I did look at them. The receipts are inconclusive. You can't tell who rented what. That's first and foremost. There's no information indicating an account or anything about who rented the bike. It says nothing about that. One receipt shows a bike that was unlocked and locked right back immediately within a minute. The other receipt shows a different bike, not the same number, was taken out and the person rode the bike for 25 minutes. Again, there's no indication of who rented the bike. Here's what you need to pay attention to. Justin Marino is trying to help Sarah keep her job. So it is up to him to disrupt the narrative that is out there about her right now. And that narrative is that she committed an egregiously racist act by screaming for help and acting like she was being attacked, when in all sincerity, all they were doing was arguing over a bike. I asked Justin why his client didn't at the time say that she had rented the bike. The young man in the video kept saying it over and over again. So why didn't she say she had rented the bike? He said, oh, well, it was a crazy moment. You know, so much was happening. It was stressful for her. She just didn't remember. But that would have been the easiest way to solve this dispute. If she actually had rented that bike and had possession of it, and she could show him that on her phone, because the other young man who kept saying he rented the bike, he was showing everyone his phone to say that he had the bike. So why didn't she do the same thing? I want people to enlist some critical thinking skills. Him saying that he has receipts is not the same as proof. I will explain that in a follow-up video. All right, now let's talk about proof, okay? Proof. In a legal sense, if we were in a court of law, the receipts that her attorney sent me would not stand up in court. If he were in court, he would have to present receipts that were irrefutably from her account. I asked him specifically if those receipts had been verified by anyone, including Citibike. Had they been seen by anyone other than himself and his client? He said no. No one else verified those receipts. And this is what he sent to me and the New York Post, I'm assuming. And again, these were heavily cropped images. One of the images was also heavily redacted, so you couldn't even see where the bike was picked up or where it was dropped off or even what time, because it was all redacted. So, again, or actually, on the second one, you could see the times. You couldn't see what station it was picked up from, but you could see that it had been ridden for 25 minutes, like I said, and that was it. Everything else was redacted. You don't know who rented the bike. That is not proof, people. Understand that. This is just a statement from her lawyer. A statement from her lawyer is not proof of anything. That is just his statement. Everyone's telling me, oh, you're going to get sued. For what, baby? I haven't done anything. I simply discussed a video that had already been viewed by millions of people by the time that I saw it. I haven't defamed her. She actually defamed herself with her behavior on that video, because the behavior is telling one story while her lawyer, through his statements, is painting another picture of her. So if anything, she should be upset with herself. But I digress. Her lawyer's statement is not proof. That is not proof that those boys did anything wrong. Not only that, but unless we have their receipts too, how do we what are we comparing this to? This is just her saying that at some point she rented a bike. That doesn't mean it was that bike. It doesn't mean it was at that time. None of that. This doesn't prove any of that. And everyone needs to understand that. That is not proof. So again, before you go running off with this narrative, please remember that what's important here is this: whether she rented the bike or not. And again, that's up for debate, because she didn't show proof at the time, and these receipts don't prove anything, okay? Other than someone rented a bike at a certain point. It doesn't prove she did it. It doesn't prove that it was that specific bike at that specific time. It just shows that a bike was rented, okay? Now, the important issue, and we all need to stay focused on this, is her behavior. And that's what he's trying to get out of the media, is the fact that she reacted hysterically, started screaming as if she was being attacked or mugged, yelling for help, fake crying, and that led to all of this discussion and debate about her. And he's trying to get rid of that discussion. So again, lawyer statement, not proof. Those receipts, not proof. We don't have proof of anything. Have a good day.
I want to make a conclusion, and I want to make black people aware of something. One of the things that I came across in law school and my own independent study is the culture, nature, behavior, routine. Let me say this. White people, no matter how poor they are, will hire a lawyer. If one person in their family needs a lawyer, they will take up a collection from everybody in the family to hire a lawyer. Versus this stupid behavior from black people. Almost until you get to actually rich black people, they don't hire lawyers. I want you to, for 1 second, think about all of the heartache and pain that black people go through from that behavior alone. In their effort to save money, they won't hire a lawyer. What does not hiring a lawyer do for you? It means, if you believe it, that the very white supremacist legal system can throw the book at you. Anytime, every time. Just because they can. Well, I don't trust lawyers. They're all in on it. You haven't hired a lawyer to find out. This is documented behavior. Not only is it documented behavior, it's documented by lawyers. They say, we don't get it. Guy comes up for DUI. He expects to get a public defender to defend it. The public defender isn't going to defend a DUI. He's going to offer a plea deal and that's it. At best. The whole war on drugs, 75% of black men in jail are there for simple marijuana possession. Because he didn't hire a lawyer. And the family didn't hire a lawyer. So then you take a look at, they say 60% of black children are born to a single mom, which is a lie. Let me show you how they get that stat. If Shaniqua has a child out of wedlock, that's one child. If Mr. and Mrs. Johnson has a child, that's one child. If Shaniqua has a second child out of wedlock, now 2/3 of all black children are now born to a single mom. Just that simple math right there should tell you how they come up with the stat that 60% of black children are born to a single mom. It's not true. If you did something like a mean or a median, it would take all of the Mr. and Mrs. Johnsons and say, hey, actually, most black children are born to two-parent households. It's just that Shaniqua has 7 children or 12 children. And by the way that we're calculating stats, she took out 12 Mr. and Mrs. Johnsons all by herself. But for the sake of argument, let's say you're a black man born to Shaniqua. You get in trouble with the law. Is Shaniqua going to hire a lawyer for you and let the other 11 children that she has go hungry? No, she's not. Shoot yourself in the foot. Or worse yet, you're born to Shaniqua, you need a lawyer. He'd say, okay, so let's go talk to the family. What family? Shaniqua was born to a single mom too. Shaniqua's family consists of her mother and her grandmother, both single moms, have no extended family, do not really talk to the extended family, and the extended family don't want to talk to that family line in the family tree. That branch of the family. Don't want to talk to them at all. Why? Because they're single moms. So there's nobody you can go get funding for a lawyer. And this is the behavior of black people. It's documented by white lawyers nationally. It's so often, it's so common that it's a national thing. I can't wave my magic wand and eradicate single moms, but something has to happen. Luckily, this new age that we're ushering in the past 20 years with this whole he, she, they, them, all that sort of stuff, 30% of men are virgins and 30% of women are virgins. That includes black people. Oh, surprise, surprise. I know, you didn't think black people have the same exact culture as white people or share the same sort of values as white people, but we're talking about the woke black people. The woke black people share the same exact ideology, culture, behavior as the woke white people. It is not black culture, but it's woke culture. And that being said, 30% of black people, of the young black people under the age of 35 are virgins. That is men and women. So what is that? Why am I bringing that up? That means in about 20 more years, that won't be a problem. It's gonna jump up to something like 50% in 20 years. In 30 years, all of those people won't be a problem. They won't be in the dating market, and they won't be anything that anybody pays attention to. People say the pendulum has to swing. It's gone full woke, and it's going to swing back. Well, when it swings back, it's going to get stuck in the wet cement of normalcy. All the people wishing that the world would turn normal again, don't worry, it's coming. 20, 30 years, it's going to, 20, 30 years is the, what do you call it? The critical point. So if it hadn't already swung, it will definitely swing and it'll be stuck in normal, because those are only going to be the only people who are going to survive. It is unsustainable. This whole ideology that's going, it's unsustainable. So the good news is that the black people who don't have extended family, the black people who are raised by single moms, that's all going to vanish. That's all going to disappear. It will be a thing of the past. Then we can have some true equality based on good, sound behavior that's in line with adult thinking. You get in trouble, you hire a lawyer. You get in trouble, you hire a lawyer. I can almost guarantee that these young men are not going to hire lawyers. And nobody looking out for them is going to hire a lawyer. And nobody's going to create a GoFundMe to hire a lawyer for the young men. Guaranteed, almost. Almost guaranteed. Thank y'all for it.